and welcome to the Pumpkin Podcast. I'm your host, Calum, and this channel is proudly sponsored by Dean of the Dead's Hot Sauces. Now today, I am joined by Timothy Deves from ScareTOUR. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Fantastic. Now we're going to have a chat with Tim, find out how we got into the scare industry. We're going to talk about some of the extreme attractions that Tim has visited over the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
About 3-4 years. And then we're going to touch on a few of the other events he's visited as well. And then if we've got time, we'll have a quick chat about what he thinks about Halloween this year. So, Tim, it's great to have you on the show.
Cool, thanks.
Now,
ready to go.
Please tell me how you first got into the scare industry. What was the first thing that made you come into the industry and go, this is for me?
So, for the longest time, I was quite a bit of a theme park nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, I saw all of the news about Scarefest and Fright Nights coming out each year. And I think just over time, it just slowly got me more and more intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, I obviously started following ScareTOUR and saw all of their reviews of the events. And I thought, you know what? I might give this a go. And I distinctly remember the first time that I really thought about like visiting was when I saw the announcement for the Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so intrigued because obviously they announced it was kind of linked to the new roller coaster coming. I was like, you know what, if I don't do it now, like when am I actually going to get into it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's 2012. Yeah,
2012.
2012's Scarefest was the first time that I actually went to a scare event. And I was absolutely...
What was the first maze that you went into?
So Carnival of Screams, and looking back, it's embarrassing, but like I was absolutely bricking it. And it's just like, of all the mazes to worry about, Carnival of Screams, like, don't get me wrong, amazing maze, but just not one to get scared of.
But in 2012 for your first one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember, what was my first one? I think my first one probably was Passage.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I was petrified when I first went through there. But now I go through there and I still get the odd thing now and again, but when you've been through them, you get desensitized to them after the while, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so 2012.
Yeah, and to think the Sanctuary was my second maze of all time. That's
a bit of a step.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, fantastic. So in terms of actually going to events, how many events did you do in 2012?
So 2012, I think it was just Scarefest. And then I think 2013 was when I started branching out.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I won a ticket to Twisted Attractions, which was my first independent event.
Yeah.
And as soon as I went to Twisted Attractions, I just kind of fell in love. Because they had two mazes at the time. What was it? It was House of Insomnia, which was kind of your traditional group-based haunt where... you go through in groups, and it's quite intense. I think there was a little bit of touching and like jostling around, but there wasn't anything too like extreme. But then they had Ward 78, which was iconic, let's just say.
Yeah.
And it was my first alone experience, which was quite a big step at the time, considering that was like the second year that I actually did scare attractions.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. I remember it took me quite a lot of warming up to that. I was just like, oh god. I got to the front of the queue and I was just like, oh, do I really want to do this? And then
you did it, didn't you?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and I did it like 5 times or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just got like more and more intense each time, like more like physical contact, more like stuff. In fact, I remember the last run I went in, because normally you walked through it.
Yeah.
The last run I went in and they were like, oh, the patients have got a present for you this time. And I was like, oh god. And then they wheeled out this wheelchair with this blindfold. They forced me down in the wheelchair and they were like, oh, there's something else, and just blindfolded me and started like running me through the whole attraction, like on this wheelchair. Absolutely insane. Brilliant though.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you go to scare events
Yeah.
as well. Have you ever acted in any events?
I have actually, and that's a
Oh,
good...
really? I didn't know this.
Yeah, so actually, after a couple of runs through Ward 78, Trixie, who now runs Walsall Scare Maze, actually invited me to come back for the weekend to act in Ward 78.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was good fun. I was a bit...
What did you do?
So I was in the strobe maze section. They called it the chicken run.
Right.
Because it was just like a fence maze pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite a good place to scare because obviously it was all relied on the intensity of the strobes and just chasing people. So that was good fun.
And I never knew you did that.
Didn't you?
No, never knew that. I thought you just visited.
No, I've acted 2 nights at Twisted Attractions. So I did Ward 78, and then a couple of years down the line, I did Mrs. Piggett's Pie Factory and also a couple of minutes in the Priory Fields.
Couple of minutes.
Yeah, literally, we covered someone's break, so I've not done that much in Priory Fields. It was mostly Mrs. Piggott's, which was easily my favourite to act in, because on the night that I went, there was a group of girls who ended up not running into an actor's corridor, but it was a dead end where, like, you could put an actor if you wanted.
Yeah.
So they ran down into this dead end, completely missing the clear exit. Which I was quite impressed by. And yeah, so they ran into the corner, and I mean, I'm not exactly the most physically imposing guy.
Scare me too.
Really? Really?
No.
So, I somehow didn't think so. But yeah, I somehow managed to loom over them. Again, just I don't know how I managed to loom over them, but I guess I just got on my tiptoes and tried my best.
Yeah.
But basically...
Wheels falling.
I scared the wreath. See, I can be intimidating.
You can be intimidating.
Yeah. So, yeah, cornered them, like properly loomed up over them, and because it was kind of like a pig pie factory kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like started talking to them, being like, "Oh, I'm going to turn you into meat, blah blah blah," and then I was like, "Oh no, we've got 3 lost little piggies," and they were like properly cowering at this point, and like, what ended up happening was I was like, "Do you want to go, little piggies?" And of course they were like, "Yes." So I was like, "Well, there's only one way out. Squeal for me." And the look on their face, priceless. They were just like, "No, not doing it." And I got right up in their faces and like screamed and squealed at them at the same time, and they actually ended up doing it. They actually ended up squealing to get out, which was quite fun.
I really enjoyed listening to that story.
Really?
Yeah, because I just never knew that you'd scare acted before. So here's one for you. Would you rather scare act or would you rather visit?
Oh, visit.
You didn't let me finish.
No,
yeah.
no, visit.
Visit all day long.
Yeah. No, I like acting, like, I liked my acting that I did, but I don't think I could keep it up.
You like experiencing the events themselves. So when did you, obviously, so then you obviously carried on going to attractions after 2012, kept going back, etc., etc. When was it that you joined ScareTOUR?
So that was 2018, I think. Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with Michael and his team?
Oh, so like pretty much after the first ScareCon Aftershock that I went to, which was the one at Broadwich Warmfest, really good event by the way, we started talking more and more regularly. So we started talking about like theme parks and scare attractions, and just over time I started going to Rimscape Southend with him, and we just started doing more and more stuff together. And then eventually, I think it was when I went to Orlando, I reviewed what's it called, Busch Gardens Hallow Scream.
Yeah. Were you there the same time I was there?
I think so, yeah.
You was, weren't you?
Yeah.
Or the same season. So I remember me and Frankie was there in 2018.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I remember speaking to you, tried to meet up, didn't we? But I think you might have gone when I arrived, or the other way around.
Yeah, I think you might have arrived like literally as I was leaving.
Yeah. What did you think of Busch Gardens?
Oh, so we had a bad experience, unfortunately. The mazes were actually like stunning. They were absolutely
stunning to look at.
Yeah, really beautiful. But the acting just left a lot to be desired for us.
See, I find that at Halloween Horror Nights it's quite the same thing as well.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm walking around looking at all the sets at Halloween Horror Nights, and the actors, to me, because it's kind of like you're like cattle just walking through.
Yeah.
There's no sort of, I don't know. It's just there's too many people for them to get everybody. So I don't. Maybe I've just been missed every time I've gone through. So I find myself looking at obviously Universal Studios producing Halloween sets and mazes. They're fantastic to look at. So I find myself just walking through and looking at all the attractions. I don't actually go for the actors. I go to look at all the events. Yeah.
Because when we went through Halloween Horror Nights, I was absolutely terrified. Really? I remember the Seeds of Extinction maze in particular really got me, because it was all like zombies that had kind of been overgrown by this weird plant/fungus kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they blended into the wall so well. So you'd just be walking past this mossy wall thinking there was nothing wrong about it. And then all of a sudden this actor would just like leap out at you, and it was terrifying. Because they made the most horrendous like squelching, clicking noises that you just don't want to hear that kind of thing. Not at all.
My favourite maze was Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah.
Did you do that one, Trick or Treat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
What a maze.
That one was fun.
Stunning.
Yeah, that one was really fun, because I went with Seven Jade from Unlock Vision Entertainment.
I love Seven Jade.
And they hadn't seen the film before, so I had to kind of explain it a little bit to them. And
if you're not seen Trick or Treat,
Do it.
Go and see it. It's a proper Halloween film.
Definitely.
And you'll fall in love with little Sam as well.
Yeah.
'Cause he's brilliant. So, moving away from your standard attractions,
Yes.
Tim. So, let's discuss extreme attractions.
Yeah.
Now, extreme attractions aren't for everybody, which we've obviously found out over the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Obviously, but you were a big enthusiast when it came to going through extreme attractions. You've kind of dwindled away from that now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you was on the extreme panel at ScareCon in 2017. Tell us a little bit about what you've done in terms of extreme haunts and how did you first come across them?
Cool. So I'd say like the first kind of seeds of interest in extreme probably came through with Ward 78, which wasn't an extreme haunt by any means, but it's the fact that you went through alone and it was a bit more physical kind of got me thinking, maybe I can actually put up with a little bit more than I expected. So the first like proper one that I'd say that I did was probably Psychomantium Full Confession. That was the first year that I went to Scare Kingdom. And I remember hearing like all the stuff like, oh, you have to go into a coffin, or you might have to like drink something. And I was a bit concerned, to put it lightly. I was
like most people would be.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned, but I ended up going through and like I surprised myself. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be, and I ended up quite enjoying it. And then obviously from then onwards, I was more open to doing things. So when I heard about Snuff House After Dark, I was very interested. I must admit, at first, when I heard Russ McKamey was involved, I was just like, ooh, maybe this might be a bit too much for me. But after like a bit of reassuring from everyone, I was like, okay, I'll give this a go. And if it doesn't work for me, then I'll just quit, because I know that's an option. And so I ended up doing the first Snuff House After Dark and ended up really liking it. I struggled quite a bit with the physical elements, I remember that.
So for people that don't know much about extreme attractions, tell them about a couple of things that happened within the attraction itself.
Okay, so Snuff House After Dark, the original version, it was quite interesting how they like used psychological elements. So a lot of the event was based around pitting the different people going through against each other. So, for example, one of the most memorable things for me from that first Snuff House was we had to do some kind of physical task. I think it was like sit-ups or planking. And me being incredibly unfit, ended up failing miserably. And the tormentors just like ignored that. And I was a bit surprised at the time. I was like, okay, something's going on here. This is a bit funny.
We've seen him.
Yeah, they'd seen me. And then at the end of that task, the tormentors rounded everyone up. And then ended up saying, so, I think I was like number 3 or something. So, has anyone noticed that number 3 hasn't been doing any of the exercises that we've been setting you this entire time? And there was just silence. Absolute silence in the room. And I was just like, oh no. And they were just like, does anyone think that's fair? And just all of a sudden, everyone piped up, like from dead silence to just, no. And I was like, oh, great. I've got myself in for something here.
So Snuff House After Dark was 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then you went from doing Snuff House After Dark, which was during the summer, to doing Snuff House Alone.
Yes.
Scare Kingdom Screen Park, Halloween 2016?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Tell us a little about Snuff House Alone.
Well, oh god, there is so much to talk about Snuff House Alone. So I think that was probably the first time that we properly like met each other, wasn't it?
Me and you, yeah. I remembered your face from Snuff House After Dark.
Yeah.
And for those who didn't know, I was Mr. Black in Snuff House After Dark and Snuff House Alone. So I remembered Tim from Snuff House After Dark during the summer. So when he came through the Halloween event, I seen him. There's a little flap at Scare Kingdom in the over 18s bit at the end of where the bar is, and there's a flap, and I seen him through this flap, and I just remember looking at him and going, "You're having it. You're getting it. Get in here now." And it kind of built up a little bit of a rivalry between me and Tim.
Oh, definitely. Especially considering I went through the first Snuff House Alone twice.
You did go through it twice, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I managed to survive the first run through. I managed to do everything, which I was quite impressed by, because Snuff House Alone was very different from After Dark, wasn't
Completely different, yeah. Completely different. Because obviously After Dark was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Snuff House Alone was a quick 5 minutes in. It was more in your face, wasn't it? It was very aggressive, in your face. But there was a very, very cool scene in Snuff House Alone the end scene with the chair,
Yes, the gun scene.
the gun scene at the end, which was fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant. Probably one of the best like scares ever. It was so psychological. It like, I think the thing about it that made it so good was that whilst it was extreme, it was something that pretty much anyone could do.
Yeah.
Because all it was you got sat in a chair and your legs got strapped in, and I should have noticed at the point that your legs got strapped in that something was going to happen, but that didn't click to me at all. So
Knocking sauces over.
oh no. So you got your legs strapped in, and you were hooded, and whilst you were hooded, you could feel a knife running against your throat, and the tormentor asked you what you thought that was, and so obviously you replied with a knife. They quickly de-hooded you, and all of a sudden there was just this revolver pointing at your forehead, and before you could do anything, the trigger was pulled, and your seat just flew backwards into this like crash mat. And oh my god, I think
It was actually a mattress.
was
It
it?
was a mattress, yeah.
Oh wow.
So there was an actor behind the guest in the chair. So when the actor in front of them pulled the trigger, the actor behind pulled the chair back. So then they obviously didn't realise they were going backwards. And the initial just thrill of going back into the chair, and then the actors dived on top of him. It was one of my favourite scenes
Yeah.
in Snuff House Alone.
Oh, definitely.
What was one of your worst scenes in Snuff House Alone?
So are you asking worse? As in,
Most challenging?
okay, so most challenging. So despite this being the most challenging, I did kind of enjoy it. So like, whilst it was kind of the worst, at the same time it was also quite fun.
Little weirdo.
And I'm assuming this is the one that you're thinking of. So the second time I went through, someone, not naming any names, someone decided that they wanted to give me like the worst time imaginable. So for the first room, I'm sure everyone's heard this about the fish water, but you'd normally get a cup, a simple cup. I got the whole jug. Yeah,
Whole jug.
the whole jug.
I think that was because it was the end of the night.
Oh gosh.
I think it was the end of the night,
Yeah.
and we just needed to get rid of it.
The funny thing was, I distinctly remember that run through, I wasn't even at the front of the queue. There was some poor woman in front of me, and you opened up the window, and I was like, oh god, I've missed Calum. And all of a sudden, you saw me standing behind her, and you were like, no, not her, I want him. And just like started screaming.
Yeah,
and
because you were the
freaking
last
out.
ones of the night, weren't you?
Yeah.
I remember.
But yeah, no, despite how horrible it might sound, that jug wasn't the most challenging. I think the most challenging thing was what came next. So, there was one scene where, again, you were hooded and you were led up to this table and you were asked to put your hands down in front of you like that. And you didn't really know what was going on because obviously being hooded, you couldn't see what was right in front of you. And what was right in front of you was this huge bowl of water. So you'd get your hood ripped off and all of a sudden you'd be asked this like impossible question.
What was the capital of Indonesia?
Oh God,
That was my favourite one to use.
I can't even begin to imagine what the answer to that is.
Mm.
And like before you could even attempt to answer, your head was just dunked down in the bowl of water and then lifted back up again for another question, and then like again before you could answer, back down again, and it just repeated. And on that particular run through, someone didn't give me much time to breathe in between the different ones.
You did.
You did, but at the same time, I was just getting repeatedly dunked down over and over, and I was just like, can't do this.
I made you quit though, didn't I?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I never wanted anyone to quit in Snuff House Alone. But just this one, I tell a lie, there's only two people I wish to quit in Snuff House Alone. And that was Tim and Matthias.
Oh
Because they were
god.
the two people. The character, Mr. Black, generated a rivalry between yourself and Matthias. And it was a really entertaining rivalry that went on for a couple of years. You even went to ScareCon
Yes, as Mr. Black.
with Mr. Black.
And had a nice little surprise, didn't
Yes,
I?
you did. Yeah, so we'd heard that Tim was coming dressed as Mr. Black to ScareCon. So we thought, what can we do? So we thought, right, well, we'll give him the real Mr. Black. So when he's there in his costume, pretending to be Mr. Black, the real Mr. Black will come out and grab him in the middle of ScareCon. And you wasn't expecting that, were you?
No, because I was just sitting down talking to some people at the Scare Kingdom table, and my back was to the entrance to the room, so I couldn't really see what was approaching behind me. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like tackled out of my chair. And someone's just screaming in my face, calling me an imposter.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was an imposter.
Oh yeah.
How dare you you take Mr. Black's mask and use it for your own?
True. I mean, I could never.
You make it yourself, that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
So, moving away from Snuff House,
Yes.
what was the other extreme events that you've done?
So the main other event that I did was Cracked versus Heretic.
Tell us a little bit about Cracked.
So I think that was 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Cracked and Snuff House were surprisingly different. I mean, despite the fact that they're both extreme attractions, you'd think they'd have some similarities, but aside from the fact that you're doing like physical endurance and some eating and stuff, there's not really much that connects
They were
them.
very different, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Snuff House was definitely more in your face, aggressive, yelling, that kind of thing. Whereas Cracked was definitely far more psychological, quiet, and just intense in ways that Snuff House was intense in the whole like aggressiveness, but Cracked was intense in the moments that like perhaps it might be a bit more quiet and a bit more psychological, and it was very impressive in that way because the first 5 minutes we basically got abducted and put in a van, and me being small, I got put in a parcel shelf alongside 3 other people, and that was precisely when I found out I'm incredibly claustrophobic. Yeah, that was not a fun van ride. I think I ended up crying because you had the claustrophobia from the parcel shelf. You had Frankie screaming because she was a mole the entire time, and we didn't know. We thought something horrendous was happening to her.
My missus is very petite, very small, but she can be a frightening lady when she wants to be, can't she?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was just the fact that we thought she was one of us, and we could just hear the most horrendous screams coming from her, and we were like, oh god, like what happens if the person like attacking her all of a sudden decides to come over and get me? And on top of that, throughout the couple of months before Cracked, they'd kind of interrogated us online, found out everything about us, and they got us to record like little snippets of audio, and they'd taken those snippets and distorted them or warped them, so you knew that you could hear your voice, but it didn't sound like your voice, and you're like, I know that's me, but it doesn't sound like it. So like all of those things on top of each other just made for this horrific, like nightmarish kind of atmosphere, and it was just intense.
So can I ask you why you came away from extreme events? So you really, obviously, you loved going through Snuff House alone. You loved After Dark. You loved Cracked.
Yeah.
Why did you step away from that?
I think it's because, like, after a while, I think I found my limits. Like, I knew what kind of things I could manage, and I knew what kind of things I couldn't manage. And I think after a while, I'd seen so much stuff that I was like, I've experienced everything there is, because there is a whole variety of things to the extreme industry.
Yeah.
But I think, like, I've realised that I'd taken everything that I could from it, and kind of thought, well, perhaps there's another reason why I'm liking these extreme events. So I realised that I really like the immersive kind of side of it.
So going into immersive events.
Yeah.
What immersive events have you done recently which you thoroughly enjoyed?
So I think some of the main ones would be Death Cell from Our Space Productions I think it was year before last actually now. That was this really cool like immersive event based around like a post-Brexit Britain where people could nominate others to get sent to these small little prisons called Death Cell, which were kind of like these lawless places where anything could happen. And it was amazing. I think that was the first event that this company had done, and the stuff they had in there was absolutely brilliant. So funnily enough, they actually took like elements from extreme attractions, like there were two opening scenes where members of Death Cell getting tortured.
Okay.
But they were plants. So you thought it was genuinely someone from your group that had been picked out to get electrocuted or waterboarded, and you were just like, oh my god.
Clever.
Yeah, and it wasn't actually anyone from the group. No one actually experienced anything extreme apart from those plants.
Yeah.
And even then it was simulated. But it was just incredible, because I remember I got placed in the water scene, which was quite appropriate considering everything that happened with you.
Yeah.
And I was just sat next to the person getting like waterboarded, and I was like, oh my god. And so yeah, from then you went into like another scene where they had like like a fight scene between the different members, and it was just so fast paced and so immersive. You like the fact that they were using plants completely blew my mind because you just didn't really know what was real and what was acting. It was insane. And for something that was literally about like 20 minutes, it packed in like a huge punch. Because I remember the ending was just this short corridor where it was like a chase out. And by that point, we were just like, get me out of here. Yeah. I'm terrified. So that was that was 2 years ago. Yeah. And I think they're announcing a sequel next year, hopefully.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to visit that because I've never done any Death Cell productions yet.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, so obviously they kind of overlap with when we do ours. So,
yeah.
I would love to get to one of their events.
Yeah.
So from there you went, obviously when you started doing immersive events, where did you go to after doing Death Cell?
So Darkfield.
Darkfield.
Oh gosh. So Darkfield are an event that they're quite different from everyone else. They don't actually rely on actors, which is hard to believe when you're in their attractions because, dear God, it feels like someone is there in the room with you. So basically, they've been running this thing called Darkfield Festival where they've had 3 of their attractions, Seance, Flight and Coma, and they're literally just these shipping containers. There's nothing fancy to them. I mean, when you get inside the shipping containers, they're themed, but they're not actual like mazes. They're literally just seats or, in some cases, beds. But I won't spoil that one. And they just take a simple premise like a seance, and then they use audio and headsets to really immerse you in the like scene. So the lights go out, and all of a sudden, just chaos unfolds. And it's really interesting because, like, you would think Seance would be the scariest, considering it's the only one with, like, a genuine horror theme. Like, it's all about a seance that goes wrong. Won't tell you what else happens, but it's terrifying, and there are some horrendous sounds. I can promise you that some of the worst sounds I've ever heard in my life have been in Seance.
Right.
Horrible. But yeah, you'd have thought that Seance would be the worst, but actually, I found Flight and particularly Coma to be the most horrendous. Coma messed me up big time. Because when you go into coma, you don't really know much about it. You just know that you're going to have to lie down in a bed and there is a pill. And you get tasked with a simple question. Do you take the pill or do you not take the pill? I took the pill. Obviously.
You took the pill. You're always going to take the pill, weren't you?
Yeah. No, I took the pill like immediately. In fact, I think I took it before the audio even started. And yeah, the whole attraction is basically themed around like, what is that pill? Why did you take it? Like, what's going to happen to you now that you take it? Like, now that you've taken it. And
I do like those sort of things when they play with your psychological mindset.
Oh yeah.
Which is good. So yeah, so after that, 2019, what other immersive events did you do?
Oh, you're
smirking at him because I know what's coming.
So, Scream Camp, The Ritual. So, wow. Just wow.
The reason I was mentioning Scream, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scream Camp, the overnight horror camping experience, was a very intense attraction, whereas Scream Camp, The Ritual, which was our Halloween special, was incredibly immersive.
Yeah, it was
incredible storyline.
It was a much more like intimate thing because the groups are quite a bit smaller.
Yes.
And we were going through.
It was only for 2 days.
Yeah, it was insane because more people should have seen it, and it was just the fact that it was so story driven. And I think the thing that impressed me most was the fact that it went into like topical issues such as mental health. But I think when you've got such issues like that, you've got to like deal with it in an appropriate way. You can either go really cheesy, really like inappropriate, or you can get the fine line, and you managed to nail that fine line where it was like so hard hitting but so respectful, and just the impact that some of the scenes had was insane. And I think the thing that really set it apart from other immersive events was the fact that like you constantly felt as an audience member that you were kind of involved in it, and you didn't really feel a separation. You were part of the plot. And I don't want to spoil too much, but certain decisions could be made at the end, which had a major impact. And
life or death impact. Because the story really pulled you in. We wanted people to connect with the story, which from feedback we've had, that happened. We wanted to create an event, as Mikey called it, fantastic piece of Artodium theatre.
Yeah,
I think are the
definitely.
words he used. Because it's completely different to the kind of events I've produced in the past. Different to Scream Camp. It was more of I wanted to touch on an event that really focused on 21st century issues around mental health, and because it's a big talking point everyone at the moment, but to do it in a way that the audience can connect with.
Absolutely.
And then kind of look at it and go, I can see what they're doing there with that.
Yeah.
And then the end scene.
Yes. Oh my god. So, should I spoil it?
You can spoil it. It's done now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a one-off special.
So, the end scene. Basically, throughout this entire attraction, you'd been led to believe that Charlie, the cult leader, was undergoing like serious mental health issues, and the big finale scene was kind of like a sacrifice scene. And before the sacrifice happened, Charlie asked the audience if there was anyone in his cult that had betrayed him.
Grass.
Excuse me.
Grass.
Excuse me.
So there was 15 other people there. Who sticks their hand up and grasses?
I didn't do it straight away. You asked the first time and I was dead silent. And then you asked again. And I was like, you know what was going through my mind? I was like, he knows that someone here knows. And if I don't voice up, am I going to get in trouble? Because I think that he knows that I know. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And oh my God, just chaos unfolded pretty much. And I think the thing that I loved about that scene was just the raw emotion. Like, it just unfolded, like, so quickly, didn't it? And all of a sudden, Frankie got taken up on the sacrifice table and killed brutally in front of us.
Because the whole base of the story is that Frankie was my lead superior member who had then gone round and betrayed me. So we swapped the sacrifice from the actual sacrifice that was going to be made to my lead superior, because she was going behind my back and trying to leave and spreading rumours to everyone, etc., etc. So she got killed on the table in quite a dramatic scene. But then you thought it was all over.
Oh God! So after a really emotional scene where, like, I was on the front row, so I got a very good view of all the stuff that was going on. All of a sudden, Charlie like comes in front of me and starts screaming at me that it's all my fault, and we're ushered out by the rest of the cult members. And we go outside and we're thinking that we're just going to go back to our cars. And all of a sudden, one of the cult members screams in absolute horror. And we look up and Charlie's just hanging there in the window. And it was just absolute silence from the entire group.
Gives me goosebumps thinking about that scene.
Yeah.
Very powerful. So it was done in like an abandoned old house, but there was big glass windows, and there was one central window at the top, and there was candlelight under all the windowsills. So the only light was lit by candles. So when all the guests had been ushered out, Charlie just killed his lead superior, instantly regretted it, and then took his own life by hanging himself. And he hung himself in the window, and as it was swinging, the guests looked up and seen Charlie hanging. It was a very powerful, very powerful ending.
Haunting, even. It was.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favourite endings in terms of raw emotion and you just. I remember speaking to the actors afterwards and saying how the looks on people's faces. Yeah. Because I'd had a vacant look on my face. Obviously, I'm hanging dead. But no, it was very immersive, and it achieved the goal of creating a storyline and immersing likes of yourselves and the other guests that came as well, which is what it was all about. All
I remember was, as we were walking away back to the car after seeing you hanging, Ash from Scare Directory just turned to me and went, "What did you do, Tim? What did you do?"
It was all Tim's fault.
Yeah.
So, on that, now I think we should punish him with a game of the Dean of the Dead's Wheelie Hot Sauce Challenge.
Oh, God.
Good chat, by the way, Tim.
Yeah,
we could have gone all day, mate.
Oh, yeah.
We probably could do another episode.
Probably, yeah.
So let me go and get the wheel, and Tim can start to panic.
Exciting.
Kicking this. There you go, bud.
Oh God, now for the moment of truth.
Right, here we go. I'm hoping that's in the middle.
Yeah.
If not, oh well. Right, so do you want to pull this like that? Yeah, pull it that way. That's it.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh.
So, where's this? Been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm genuinely terrified. But
So for people who don't know, this is the Wheelie Hot Sauce Challenge. It's a scare attraction based question game. We're going to ask Tim a question, and between each question answer, we're going to spin the wheel. Now on the wheel, they've got multiple hot sauce names. So you've got Nagamare, you've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Sauce. So if you've not noticed, they're all themed to a different horror film. Now the hottest is The Exorcist, and it goes all the way down to the lowest, which is Sauce. So Tim's gonna have to try and answer these questions while his mouth is on fire.
yeah, should be fun.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Do you want to start off with a spin?
Yes. Oh God.
Right, let me just grab these questions. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll start off with a spin. Go. Oh, Tim's breaking the set. Please land an Exorcist now. It'll serve you right.
Oh, Nagamare.
Right.
Ooh.
Aggression. Look at for a little boy. You can little boy. I'm calling little boy. He looks like a little boy.
26,
He's 26. For a little boy, you can whack this hard. Right. Okay. So what are we on? Nagamare.
Yeah, Nagamare.
Nagamare. Okay.
See, I could make a good tormentor.
I pay to see you.
Silence.
I pay to see you in a tormentor's mask.
Oh God, that would be funny.
Right. Get yourself a chip.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Okay. So it's up to you how much you want to put on.
Yeah.
I've got a new batch of sauce coming from Dean. So thank you very much, Dean. So use
Cool.
as much as you want.
Go on. Oh, that's quite a bit.
You just poured in the half a bottle on your plate. Right, Tim, are you ready?
Yeah. Here we
Okay,
go.
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Mmm. That's amazing.
It's nice, and it's got a kick to it.
It has. How hot is that one compared to the rest?
That was 3 chilies,
Okay.
so that was halfway.
Okay. Yeah, this is going good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Question 1. What was the first scare attraction you ever visited?
Carnival of Screams at Alton Towers. Oh, you're going easy on me.
Sauce, yeah. Going easy on you. Okay, sauce was the one that fell. 1 second.
Oh no.
So sauce is just 1 chili, and it is jalapenos with apples. My mouth's on fire from that, Tim.
Yeah, mine is
You'll
too.
see me gradually getting worse throughout the episode.
Mm.
Right, hold on. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Shout out to Dean. Go and get your hot sauces from deanofthedead.com.
I'll try not use half the bottle this time.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, Tim, you happy?
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Mmm.
Thanks for that, innit?
Yeah, it's good.
Question 2. What is your favourite attraction you have ever visited?
Oh God. Probably Fear Avon Valley.
I like Fairy Avon Valley.
Yeah.
Cracking.
Incredible event.
Spin the wheel.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh. Oh.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we've actually had a different one every time up to now, which
Exciting.
is good.
At least I haven't done Exorcist 3 times in a row.
So this is Chipotle. Chipotle. Peppers with cherries. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, the reason why I just emphasised the word Chipotle is because on the first episode I called it Chipolata.
Thanks.
Give the bottom a button. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, messy bugger. Cheers.
Cheers. Mmm. Oh my God.
Barbecue.
Mmm.
Mmm. It's nice. Question 3. What's your favourite character you've ever encountered or a maze or attraction?
Well, I think that probably.
Where did you whip? I didn't even know we had that. Where did you whip that from?
Well, you remember that I did Mr. Black for ScareCom?
Yeah.
Thought I'd bring it along as a nice little surprise.
Oh, let's have a look.
There you
Look
go.
at that. Well, that brings back memories.
Definitely.
The famous Mr. Black. Evil man.
Very evil. I can attest to that.
You can attest to that, can't you?
Definitely.
You know what? We'll leave Mr. Black. We'll leave him here. Where should we put him?
I think he's going to have to come out when Exorcist comes out.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Leave Mr. Black on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, God. Spin the wheel. It's going up my nose now, Tim.
Really?
Nagamare.
Oh, nice.
Naga.
Oh my god, how am I coping better so far?
Because I just sniffed up.
Oh,
Don't do that.
that was a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. Right, Tim, get yourself a chip, lad.
Oh yeah.
Why has it got to the back of my throat?
Oh no. I seem to be taking a lot of Nagamare. It is good.
Show
though.
the camera your plate with that chip on.
It tastes really good, so I can't help it.
Cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
Delicious.
And it's got a bite to it.
Question 4. If you could build a scare maze, what would the theming be?
Okay, so I've had these crazy ideas recently, and I've been talking through with some of my friends about them.
Yeah.
And the one that I think is the most hilarious would be, you know, there's 1,000,001 like haunted house attractions. I'd love to do like a comedy route, like where you imagine what would happen if those haunted houses went on the market.
Right.
So like an estate agents that keep on accidentally getting haunted houses and they're just getting terrorized by all the spirits and demons lurking within the house. I just think it'd be absolutely hilarious. Kind of like Hide and Shriek's old stuff. Just comedy, horror that's completely absurd, but just kind of amazing.
I like that.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
Oh god.
Oh,
it's so
you're getting
close.
closer. Jeepers Reapers is 5 chilies.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
Here we
we're
go.
stepping it up.
Here we go.
This is
My tongue is on fire right now, so
to be honest, if you don't roll The Exorcist,
we're gonna have to make it happen, aren't we?
I still might just give it you anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There you go, bud.
Thanks. Mind you, I want to roll Periscope just to see your reaction.
Periscope
Yeah.
kicks my ass every time. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. This is an afterburner.
Oh yeah. Mm. Oh my god. Payback for Snuff House.
Piss off. Question 5. What's an attraction or event you really want to visit?
So my answer would have been Scream Factory, but I've just bought tickets to go to that. So I'm gonna.
What date?
It's the 10th of. 10th
I'm going on
October.
the 16th.
Damn it. So I'm gonna have to say Horrorland instead because
This
Horrorland.
is Horrorland. Spin the wheel.
Come on, Exorcist or Periscope. Come on.
We just had that.
Yeah.
Spin again.
Oh no! Guess choice. Exorcist.
You see that? You cheating. And you whack your hand as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. The Exorcist.
I'm gonna regret this, but go on.
Here you are. Okay. Get yourself a chip, that one
Yeah.
there, that biggest one.
Oh, God. That's not big.
Hold
That's
on.
tiny.
Get some more. I'm going to hide the brand, because other brands are available. It's all getting messy on this set today. Right, grab yourself a bigger chip,
Okay.
and I'm going to let you pour yours on.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh God. It's not coming out.
It's coming.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Here we go. The moment of truth. Oh my God! What was that? Are you okay, Calum?
No, I'm not, mate.
Do you want to say first?
There's a mask on the table, mate.
Do you want to say first?
Oh, come on. Right, there we go.
Just say
Right.
stuff else so it can all be over.
Never. Cheers.
Cheers. Mm.
Question 7. What's your favourite scary movie?
Hereditary. Ooh.
I'll get you in a minute.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
Yes, Periscope.
Oh, no, it's not!
Oh no. Oh.
Oh, it landed on Periscope.
It did.
It did.
It did.
Even though it finished on Jeepers Reapers. Timmy!
Your favourite.
I know. Right. Get yourself a chip.
Oh.
You got more sauce? Right. Pass me that plate.
Yeah.
Pass me that plate. He's got more sauce on his plate than Mikey did.
Tell you what, I'll finish off the sauce at the end.
I'll make you lick.
Yeah.
No, I'll put the mask on and make you lick the plate.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. Here we go.
Oh God, here we go. This is
Get it on there, Tim. Cheers.
cool.
Question 8. How long have you been in the scare industry?
I think I started reviewing for my own small blog in 2012. That one is quite intense.
Spin again. 2 in a row.
Cool. Texas
Texas
chainsaws.
chainsaws.
Oh my God.
It's an afterburner, that, by the way.
Yeah, I can tell.
You know what most people have done? It kicks your bottom afterwards. So when the camera goes off, you should see them. It's hilarious. Give me a drink, give me a drink.
Thanks.
They're all that big and hard on here.
What?
I said, all the guests that big and hard on here.
Yeah.
I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
Cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
Chipotle.
Question
9. Animatronics, yes or no?
No.
Good answer, spin the wheel. Hey, you got it.
Oh no.
Now you've had them all. Right, Paniscovo. Where are we?
Oh.
Where is it? What's here?
It's hiding.
Okay, excited to try this one.
Yeah. My eyes are like actually watering.
We'll use that one. Right, we've got one more after this.
And then licking the sauce off the plate.
Then licking the sauce off the plate.
Jesus.
You actually are doing that, by the way.
Oh, I know. I know. Thanks. Okay. Oh, shit.
Right. Cheers.
Shit.
Sorry for the language.
Okay. That's intense.
Number 10. What's been your favourite ScareCon location?
Okay, so everyone's been saying Alton Towers, so I'm going to go for something different.
Go on.
If we're including the aftershocks, I'm going to have to say York Maze.
Right, okay.
That is incredible. The run-throughs we had of their attractions. Oh, hello.
You're right there, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your eyes will look a bit watery. Your eyes are watery, mate.
Yeah, they
Can
are. Aren't
anybody
they?
see Tim's watery eyes?
Oh my God. So yeah, the run-throughs we had on the mazes were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Really intense. And the talks that we had were really interesting as well. So definitely York Maze.
Good. One last spin for good luck. Oh, sauce.
Oh.
Do you want to spit best out of 3 and choose your sauce?
Yeah, why not?
I'll let him off that easy.
Okay. No, I think we've got our.
There you go. Right. You know what?
What?
I've got new batches of sauce coming from Dean. So,
What? Oh no. What?
finish that off.
Finish Exorcist off.
Yeah. So get as many chips on your plate.
You
Finish
what?
that bottle off.
That is unfair.
Finish that bottle off.
Oh God. You trying to kill me? You actually trying to kill me?
Finish that bottle.
Oh God.
It's an order. Go on, bash the bottom. That's it. Get it in you. Get some more. Come on, Tim. Let's all clap for Tim. Tim. Still a bit more. I can see a bit more there, Tim.
I'm going.
Keep going. There we go.
Oh my God.
Is that it? That's it, innit?
Yeah.
I think you can get a little bit more.
Okay.
A little bit more. Give the bottom a bash. Is that it? Are we empty?
Yeah.
You're done.
Empty. Wow.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. We'll give it a minute.
Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go.
Tim, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Have you enjoyed yourself?
Definitely. Except for that whole tormentor bit at the end with all the Exorcist.
Oh, we had to bring back some memories, didn't we, buddy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But again, thank you to you guys for watching at home. Please go and follow us on all our socials at Pumpkin Podcast on Facebook, at Pumpkin_podcast on Twitter, and just at Pumpkin Podcast on Instagram. We're back next week with another episode. But from me and Tim,
Awesome. Thank you.
Tim looks like he's crying.
Just a little bit.
See you on the next one, guys.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.